Oi, oi, and welcome to the Orient Outlook podcast, sponsored by Town and Country Harlow Estate Agents with myself, Steve Nussbaum. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend, South Stand chum, the bearded legend, the one and only, the daddy-o. It's Mr. Paul Levy.
Thank you very much indeed. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is episode number 303. Just as always a quick shout out and a thank you to everyone who tuned into our last show, which was 2 weeks ago now, because obviously we didn't play last week. This week we've got 2 weeks worth of club news to catch you up on, a review of the main talking points of yesterday's game against Sutton, and we've also got a very special guest waiting on the phone for us now. But as always, we start our shows with a word from our sponsor.
Certainly do, in covering London, Essex and Hertfordshire. Town and Country Harlow Estate Agents are run by Orient season ticket holders and fans, and along with this very podcast, I've already helped lots of you move home, and the best part is they offer all Orient fans and staff a hefty discount from their already competitive fees. So if you're thinking of selling your property or just curious as to its value, you can save yourself a few £100, keep it in your Orient family by giving them a call on 01279 883 or 07528 471497, or you can find the team on Twitter. They can be found at TNC Harlow, or Charlie, who's one of the directors there, can be found at Charlie_Paul. And remember, Town and Country don't just sell houses, they change lives.
They absolutely do. So let's move on to the guest who is very patiently waiting for us on the line now. We are absolutely beyond thrilled to welcome a very special guest this week, making his long-awaited Orient Outlook podcast debut. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to be joined by Mr. Theo Archibald to the show. Good evening, Theo. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening. And I think starting at the top, really, what a season it's been.
So far, no, it's been great. Yeah, absolutely. I think if you'd said at the beginning of the season after 21 games would be sat comfortably at the top of the table, then everyone would have been snapping your hands off for it, and that's the case. But I think as much as it's probably slightly cliched, I think everyone in the change room knows that actually we're not even halfway through the season yet, and a lot can change if we take our foot off the pedal. So it's been a fantastic beginning, but there's a long way to go.
We're going to talk about yesterday later on in the podcast, but from your perspective, Theo, a difficult game yesterday at home to Sutton United. What were your thoughts on the game yesterday?
Well, we've not played much football for a start. Obviously, we weren't in the second round of the FA Cups. We missed that. We missed that weekend of fixtures, and then obviously Crewe was cancelled last weekend. So actually, we've only been playing once a fortnight for the best part of a month now. So I thought in the first half we were brushing the cobwebs off a little bit. Even with the weather and stuff, it's been quite difficult to get proper training sessions in before in the middle of the week anyway. So I thought we dealt with their threat quite well, but didn't actually play particularly fantastically ourselves. We sort of turned it into the type of game that they wanted to play. Second half, obviously, a bit of magic from Smitty, which has so often been the case this year, sort of doesn't open the floodgates necessarily yesterday, but it allows a lot more freedom. And I think in the last 20 to 25 minutes of the game, we were pretty comfortable, to be honest. And yeah, look, it wasn't the prettiest game by any stretch of the imagination, but 3 points and a clean sheet's really all that counts actually in games like that, and that's what we did. So yeah, delighted again.
And you got pretty close to getting on the score sheet, Theo. You took a lovely free kick that you must have thought was going to hit the back of the net, but unfortunately just smacked the top of the bar.
No, I know, and that seems to be the way a little bit this season with me anyway. I can't really seem to score as many goals as I want to, but yeah, I've never scored a free kick, so I'm a little bit annoyed that didn't go in, because it's not often there's an angle that TJ's not going to take it from. So yesterday was the chance for me to actually take a free kick. It didn't go in the back of the net, so I think TJ will probably be on the next one again. But anyway, no, look, it would have been nice if that went in. But like I said, the most important thing is that we kept this winning run going, and we kept another clean sheet along with it, because obviously we've got a very important game next Monday.
Yeah,
or next Tuesday. Next
Tuesday. Yeah, we've been pushed back. But it's interesting as well. You say that. I mean, we're top of the league, and a lot of people say we don't ever seem to really get out of second gear. But we're winning, and we're winning, albeit whatever, like you just said, whatever it takes. Sometimes people are going to come and sit back and allow us to attack and soak up and try and counter. So you're right. It is about winning and just getting those 3 points. But you see, you're playing on the left hand side on the right-hand side and Smithy on the left. Which side do you prefer, and are you sort of comfortable being where you are?
Yeah, no, I really like. I mean, under Kenny last year, obviously we were playing a different formation, so I spent quite a lot of the season playing at wing back and left wing back, which again I don't mind at all. But when the gaffer came in March time and put me back out on the right, I felt that's where I feel most comfortable. I think, to be honest, that's where I enjoy playing the most anyway. Especially with the type of football that the manager's installed into us playing wise. He allows the wingers to come inside and create, and there's a bit of freedom involved, which is, I think, to be honest, if you asked any forward players exactly what they want. So playing off the right for me allows me to come inside, allows me to try and create goals for the strikers and the opposite wide men, etc. more so. And then obviously I've got a really good fullback behind me, whether that's Brownie just now, Hunty, TJ, whoever it is behind me. They're overlapping and stuff, so you can always play with them as well. So I really like it out there, to be honest. But I've not got a huge preference. So long as I'm playing, I'll try and do the best job for the team.
There have been many memorable moments already this season for us fans, and we're not even into the second half of the season yet. Do you have a favourite moment from this season so far, Theo?
Oh, good question. I think Rochdale away. The feeling at the end of that game probably felt like the most pivotal win of the season so far, just because how much pressure they put us under. We didn't actually play particularly well. The fans were right behind them the whole game. We had 2 or 3 chances, scored 2 of them, defended for our lives, and we come away with 3 points. And the sort of celebrations in the change room at the end of that game, and I'm sure there's going to be feelings like that closer to the end of the season, I hope, where the celebrations are even greater again. But the celebrations at the end of the game there, it just felt like a really important win for us. So for me, that's probably my highlight. But there's been a lot of great goals, and there's been a lot of really good performances to take away from. But yeah, in the first half of the season, I've got to say, I think our Rochdale away, I mean, the away support was amazing. The scenes when Omar scored the second goal, and it was a really good day.
When you score, obviously, I guess we thought you might say Carlisle away, where you obviously scored a double and you scored that amazing chip. I guess from that perspective, you must be delighted and think, I've got goal in a month here in the bag, and then a week or two after, Smithy hits an overhead kick and, takes some of the glory. You thinking, he's done it again here?
Well, to be honest, I'm expecting him to do it again, and I want him to keep doing it again. He had such an unfortunate season last season with injuries and stuff, and I don't think any of the fans got to see. They didn't get to see anything of him at all. We got to see glimpses of him in training, but only in the last few games of the season did we get to see him really play and show what he can do in this season. He's in his element, and I'm absolutely delighted for him. He's a good friend of mine, and if he wants to keep scoring overhead kicks and taking all the glory away from me chipping the keeper, then I'm more than happy for him to do that.
Cool. Did you mean, by the way, Stockport away is your favourite?
God, yes, that's exactly who I meant away, not Rochdale away.
Yeah.
Although Rochdale away was good as well, with Lawrence saving the penalty in the last second, but Stockport away is exactly who I meant. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought, because Omar didn't score in that one. It was Monks that got the goal in that one. So that's cool.
Yeah. It was only a couple of weeks ago. Stockport away is who I meant. Sorry.
A lot's happened since then, mate, hasn't it? Christmas dues and games and
all these wins, Theo. They all just blur into one big win, right?
Yeah, just blue team up north. Kind of got. Yeah.
So we can really tell. I don't know what you know about the history of our club, and I'm not going to give a history lesson now. But we've seen some bad things at our club, and you can really tell when players are not quite there, and things aren't going so well. But obviously now we can really feel the good, the good factor at the club. You can see the players are enjoying playing with each other, and you can see that things are really gelling on the pitch. In particular, with yourself, you obviously joined us on Lincoln last season on loan initially. What made you join Orient? We've got a couple of questions around this, but let's start, I guess, at the beginning. What made you join us on loan last season?
I think there was a few things. I had a really good conversation actually with Kenny and Joe at the time, and look, I needed to get out and play football, and the season was fast approaching. I think I joined the week before the season was starting, and I needed to go somewhere. I wanted to go to a football club that had history and had ambition, which we had at the start of last season. I looked at the squad roster and I thought, and I don't know. Sometimes there's not. I couldn't pinpoint one reason as to why, but I just had a good feeling. And then there's also external factors as well. I was quite isolated in Lincoln. Living quite far away from friends and family, etc. I've got a lot of friends down here and stuff, so that definitely actually played a factor as well. I thought happiness off the pitch would be quite important for me, and I think that actually benefited and does benefit me on the pitch quite a lot as well. So I mean, there was a few factors, but I didn't know the history of the club as I do now, so that didn't really come into my decision making. But all I can say is that I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to come on loan to Orient at the start of last season, and probably even more grateful that I got a chance to be an Orient player at the start of this season.
And I guess, from a fan's perspective, we took to you straight away, and I think I can pinpoint that as being you always give 100% on the pitch, you run in for the 90 minutes, you're very emotive, as are Orient fans on the pitch, so I think that's why Orient fans have taken to you so well. But why do you think we've taken to you so well, Theo? Because, Orient fans don't take to every player who joins the club, but it seemed as soon as you joined us, from about 2 games in, every Orient fan loved you and has remained loving you to this very day. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I love it, and I've never had a connection like this with a football club before, and it makes me delighted. I feel proud to go out on a Saturday and play for them, and I play my heart out every week. I might not play amazingly every week, but I play my heart out every week. I don't know. Perhaps that is the reason. I think they can see and sense that I have a lot of admiration for the football club, and I guess their support then becomes reciprocated in me through that. I think perhaps in years gone by, they've seen maybe a lack of passion from players on the pitch, players not giving 100%, and that's just not really in my DNA. I don't know, to be honest, but look, I'm never gonna change it. I love it, and I hope they continue to keep loving me like I love them, and may it continue.
Absolutely. Do you have personal targets that you set yourself at the start of each season? Yeah,
I do. I mean, in terms of goals, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. My assists are probably looking on track, but I need to. Well, look, the most important thing is the team and getting 3 points. But from a personal point of view, I want to obviously contribute in goals and assists as much as I can. It's my job really as a wide man to do that. And so, I want my goals to really to increase in the second half of the season. And I hit the bar again yesterday, but there have been opportunities even at Bradford last week. I should score 1-on-1 with the keeper. So it's been a little bit frustrating for me from a personal point of view that I've not scored as many goals as I want to. But I'm providing goals for my teammates, and we're winning a good amount of football matches. So do you know what? They are secondary to the ultimate goal of getting 3 points every week on a Saturday.
Great answer.
Great stuff. We always like to take listener questions, Theo. We've got a few coming up for you. We've already spoken about living in London, and you've already spoken about that. We've got quite a few about the World Cup quiz that you're probably not surprised to hear about. The first one, was very impressed with Theo and his professional and eloquent hosting of the Orient World Cup quiz. But what has been Theo's cultural highlights this year in film, music and TV?
That's a really good question, actually. Well, I actually went to the cinema a couple of weeks ago to see a movie called Triangle of Sadness, which I think is definitely my highlight of film for the year. And I'm actually over at a friend's house just now doing this podcast, and I'm trying to convince them to watch the director's other film called The Square, which I've not seen, but I've heard great things about. So when we finish up here, I'm going to try and convince them to watch that with me. In terms of music, it's my Spotify Wrapped came in, and it's my usual soft rock. The Eagles were number one band again. America, just the normal dad music rock from the 70s, really. And television. well, I mean, I feel like I've kind of got to say the World Cup, don't I? Really, especially after today's 3-3 draw, I've kind of got to say the World Cup's been quite amazing, and it's been enjoyable to have that on for the last month. So yeah.
We had a question from your number one fan, Rory, who's actually based up in Scotland. He said,
I know Rory well.
Right. He's asked, what's the best thing about playing for Leyton Orient, and why do you like wearing the number 11? So I think you've probably covered why you like the best thing about playing for Orient is. So why do you like wearing the number 11? Why that shirt number?
I think it was always a positional thing to an extent. I mean, I know it doesn't really work like that in modern football, but I think historically the number 11 was always the outside left or the left-footed midfield player. And I suppose looking at players that wore number 11 shirt, people don't ever. My right foot's actually not maybe as awful as what people think. I just never use it. But Iron Robin always wore number 11, and I always found when I was younger, I would always try and emulate things that he was doing by cutting inside and getting onto my stronger left foot. And I liked watching a lot of his clips. Gareth Bale, the same. I just found quite a lot of left-footed players who played in my position or played a similar style of football to me also wore number 11, and it's just kind of stuck, to be honest. And so whenever I join a new club, I always see if number 11's available, and luckily it was, and I'm never going to change it.
Cool. Well, if it's working for you, no need to change that, Theo. We got a few questions in, like quick fire questions, I think these are. So, best place to visit in London?
Oh, I mean, I live in Hackney, and I'm gonna have to stay true to my Hackney roots. I love it around here, to be honest. Loads of good restaurants, loads of good bars, loads of good things to do. There's pop-ups coming on all the time. Just there's a good vibe.
Great stuff. Best ever movie? I've already asked you about your favourite movie this year, but favourite ever movie?
Oh. Les Intouchables, perhaps, with Omar Sy, French film, which I'm pretty sure Kevin Hart did a terrible remake of a couple of years ago. So don't watch the Kevin Hart version, watch the original version of that. I also saw a film last year called Parasite. Some of you may have seen it.
It won the Oscars, didn't it? It won the awards.
And if you've not seen that, then absolutely get yourself in front of the screen and watch that for a couple of hours. It's blockbuster. It's great viewing.
You're obviously into your world cinema, Theo.
I don't know. They're just the two that came into my head. I do watch plenty of British films and American films as well, but my favourite films all seem to be foreign for some reason. So yeah,
love it.
Ideal holiday destination?
Well, I would say to anyone who's not visited Scotland, go and visit Scotland. But for me, that doesn't count. So for me, I don't know. I've not got a specific holiday destination that I love. To be honest, I don't really go back to the same places. I like trying to explore new places when I can. But I've been back to Lisbon a few times. I love Lisbon. Really good food. It's a nice size. The people are really friendly. It's very pretty. So I'd probably give Lisbon as my answer, I think.
And this is an interesting one. Biggest footballing regret, if you have one?
Biggest footballing regret? Well, do you know what? I try not to actually have regrets at all, because I think my journey has meandered with highs and lows. But I'm here playing for Orient right now, and we're top of the league, and I'm really happy with where we are, and so I probably shouldn't regret anything, because decisions that would have been made differently in the past may have not led me to where I am now, but perhaps just not taking it quite as seriously as I maybe should have when I was younger. I don't know if that was through having other interests or just not really growing up quickly enough, but I don't think football was my top priority when I was at an age where maybe it should have been. And that might have led me down a different path. That may have led me down the exact same path. I'm not sure. But I try not really have regrets anyway. Maybe my regret from yesterday is not putting my free kick a tiny bit lower. But other than that, no regrets.
You're being harsh on yourself, because that was only a lick of paint shy of going in. But that is a great answer. You're at where you're at because this is where you're meant to be at. And if you'd have made different decisions earlier on, you wouldn't be where you're at now, doing what you're doing and enjoying your football.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question that came in is, what other profession would you have pursued if football hadn't have worked out? And the suggestion might have been quiz show host.
Well,
Because you're good, to be fair.
maybe I enjoyed it, to be fair, but actually I didn't know quite how tough it was. I mean, I feel sorry for these guys that are doing it on live TV. I think Luke made quite a good job of a few outtakes and a few bloopers that were made by the host on the quiz. But no, do you know what? Honestly, I just don't know. My parents are both musicians, so if I was no good at football, maybe they would have pushed me in a musical direction. But I've got no idea. Is the truth? Sorry.
But you're quite a sporting family, aren't you? Because your cousin is cycling, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. Well, Katie's, got a number of Olympic medals, a few gold medals in there on the track. So she's an absolute monster on the bike, as is her brother John. He's got a couple Commonwealth Games medals and still a professional road cyclist. But I cycle to the games, but I'm not quite on their level of cycling, so I don't think that would have gone down in my favour if I was trying to become a professional cyclist either. But no, sporting genes, which I'm thankful for sure.
Yeah.
Another question we had in, Theo, was how does this team rate out of other teams that you've been a part of?
First of all, and I think probably most importantly, team camaraderie is the best I've ever been in, and almost everyone in the changing room says the same thing. And I think when you guys get other people on the podcast, and if you ask a similar question, I'd be surprised if you get a different answer. Everybody gets on with everybody. The staff get on with the players get on with the staff. It's quite easy saying that when you're doing well and you're top of the league, etc. I think it is probably easier to all get on with one another, but actually even beyond that, we're all just good friends. So from that point of view, this is the best team I've ever been involved in. I've played at Celtic, I've played at Brentford, and the level of football there is higher. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to compare that. But in terms of where we are and what we're trying to do, this is the most enjoyable and the best group that I've ever played in.
Amazing. It shows. I mentioned it earlier. You can tell that everyone's gelled. Even the pre-season videos that Luke and the media team did, you can just tell everyone's on a level. So on away days, who do you room with? Is it different, or are you assigned a roommate for the season? How does that work, and who do you room with?
Yeah, we're just sort of you just kind of whoever you were rooming with on the first day. I think they just sort of picked randomly the first hotel we stayed in, and that's who you're with. So I'm with Jordan Brown, which is great. But I think it's almost testament to the team, the fact that people didn't go and say, "Oh, can I room with him?" and blah blah blah. It's like, well, it doesn't matter who you're put in a room with, because everyone gets on with everyone. I mean, genuinely. It's really it's refreshing. It's very nice. It's just a nice environment, actually. And yeah, so me and Brownie are in a room together, which is good fun.
Great stuff. That's it for listener questions, Theo. We've got a few to ask you about Christmas, and then we'll let you go. So, first of all, do you like Christmas? Are you a fan of Christmas?
No.
I think there are probably bigger fans of Christmas than me. I'm not total Ebenezer Scrooge, but I'm not Mr. Claus either. I think it's all a bit of a fuss for nothing, to be totally honest with you. But maybe I've got a bias because we train on Christmas Day, and we don't do family get-togethers and all that kind of thing. So it's not the same. We don't get a week off work and you get to eat loads of chocolate and the nice things about Christmas, I think. So maybe I've got a distorted view on it. But I'll be honest. It's a nice day, but then it's over just like that. And I think there's a bit much fuss over nothing. But sorry for killing everyone's Christmas spirit listening.
We were just going to lead into kind of what is it like for a footballer. Obviously, like you said, you don't get the week off work, and you're not there pigging out on Christmas lunches and dinners and eating whatever you want. So I guess a footballer, it's just business as normal, but maybe a busier schedule within that.
Well, exactly. And obviously, we're the only country in the world that still does it. But I'm not gonna sit on here and complain about it at all. I think, we look forward to it. Lots of people would die to play on Boxing Day and playing a professional football game. So I'm not going to sit here and complain about having to play on Boxing Day at all. It's just it's just a different schedule for us than most other people. But I mean, even I've had away games on Boxing Day before, and you travel up on Christmas night, and it sounds miserable and things, but you're all in it together, and you get your Christmas hats on, and you have a laugh on the bus, and do you know what? Make the most of it, and it's fine.
So, speaking of getting your hats on and stuff like that, last week, as we saw on social media, it was the players' sort of Christmas do. You guys all went up to Manchester. Tell us about your Christmas outfit. We couldn't quite make it out.
Well, I was dressed as Mrs. Claus.
Right.
And, well, the main reason for that is I didn't realise we were actually supposed to wear Christmas jumpers. So on Thursday afternoon, some of the boys were starting to send in their Christmas jumpers and stuff, and I was like, oh, I didn't realise we were having to wear Christmas jumpers. And I was out shopping and just walked into the shop that happened to be selling lots of like second-hand Christmas jumpers, and I saw a nice Mrs. Claus dress, and just decided to make a full outfit of it, and that was that really.
Carried it off well.
Which I quite enjoyed it, yeah.
So, just one thing, just left to ask you. Do you, just for a message for the Orient fans, because that's all our questions now. So, just to end with, then, just a message for the Orient fans that are going to be listening to this.
I mean, look, your guys' support has been amazing this season. It's been, I mean, we can all see the numbers in comparison to last year. I think, it was, I don't know what the temperature was yesterday, but we had over 8,000 in the stadium again yesterday, and it does just make such a difference. And it keeps us motivated. It pushes us on every week, and I think we all want to achieve the same thing. And so, we're going to keep trying our best for you, and hopefully we can have as successful a second half of the season as we have the first half, and then hopefully see you all at a big parade in May time. That's my message.
So thank you to Theo Archibald there, and thanks to everyone at the club for helping get that interview sorted. I thought it was great, gave some really insightful answers, some surprising answers as well.
Very cultured.
But really good, very sophisticated, very cultured, another great player and a great character as well to have around the club. So thanks to everyone for sorting it out. Hope you enjoyed that, and hopes that brings you a bit closer to Theo, which is what we plan to do or hope to do as a fan-led podcast. So, bit of Legende Supporters Club updates.
Let's do that then. So, coaches to Newport County are leaving on Thursday, the 30th of December. That's a 1 o'clock leave from the Supporters Club. £40 for adults, 37 concessions. And children aged 15 or under are just £20, but must travel with an adult. And then on Monday, the 2nd of January, we're off to Northampton Town, fairly local. 3 o'clock kickoff for that one. Coaches are going to depart at 10:30. Adults are £29, concessions are 26. Children aged 15 or under travelling with an adult are £15 as well. And just to remind you, those prices do not include your matchday tickets, and there is a surcharge for non-members. To book on those trips, you need to call now 07507 539 579, or you can do it in the Supporters Club on a match day, and the next one for that will be Stevenage.
Certainly will. So a few pieces of AOB this week. First up, a shout out for 14-year-old Eloise Moulds, whose proud dad Mark messaged the podcast on Facebook to tell us that she was part of the official photography team at the game against Bradford City, which, if you remember, was part of the kids' takeover. So Eloise got some absolutely brilliant shots of the players in action. So well done, Eloise, from your South Stand chums. Amazing work, and look forward to seeing where the future takes you.
Absolutely. Another shout out to Orient kitman Adrian Martin, who celebrated his 30th year at the club a couple of weeks ago. So
it's got to be worth applause.
I mean, if you've not got a gold Rolex yet, then I'd be knocking on on the doors. Good luck, Ada. Thanks, mate. Thanks for everything you've done.
Great stuff. Also, we wish Orient legend, friend of the podcast, he's tiny, but now he's a manager, Dean Cox, who we wish him the best of luck. He was appointed first team manager of Lancing FC, got off to a winning start. They won 3-2 yesterday. Well done to Dino. Wish you the best of luck in that role. And again, looking forward to see where the future takes Dino.
Absolutely. Congratulations also to ex-Orient media manager Colin Mumford, who married his bride Danielle yesterday. So congratulations and a happy, healthy, long marriage to both of them.
Brilliant stuff. So obviously no podcast last week, so a fortnight's worth of news to catch up on. So let's do it. Happy Monday, 5th of December. A great start to the week for Tom James and Lawrence Vigouroux, who were both named in the Sky Bet League 2 Team of the Week and the Football League's paper League 2 Team of the Week following the game, I think, against Bradford City. So well done to those gents.
Yeah, so let's move on to Who A Tuesday, the 6th of December. Omar Beckles was nominated for the Sky Bet League 2 Player of the Month for November award. With his nomination pointing out his goal line clearance against Harrogate and his goal away at Stockport. For context, Omar is up against 2 strikers and a goalkeeper. So good luck, Omar.
Well, he was up against him. Unfortunately, didn't win the award now that got announced last week.
It was a striker, I think, that won that. Yeah.
Whoever. It wasn't Omar Beckles, so it doesn't matter in the Outlook world. Also on Tuesday, Stephen Duke McKenna, George Moncur and Paul Smith visited the Acorn Children Ward at Whips Cross Hospital to hand out presents and spread some festive cheer. So well done to all of those involved. Great to see.
Things you love to see. Wednesday the 7th of November then, the club announced young forward Dan Nkrumah has joined National League South outfit Welling on a 1-month loan. So good luck to Dan.
December.
Get some good game time.
Yeah. You took us back in time to November there, but it was December indeed, my love. You certainly did. Also, back out in the community, Richie Wellens, Charlie Kelman, Rob Hunt and Olivia Worsfold, they visited charity partner Haven House. So great work again from all involved there.
Yeah, the Academy were in FA Youth Cup action away at AFC Wimbledon in the 3rd round fixture. Unfortunately, lost the game 1-0 despite an immense fight back from the Young O's who just couldn't find an equaliser. So great effort and very unlucky there.
Really
good
unlucky
game,
there, boys. It was live on YouTube. I caught quite a bit of it. Was unlucky there. Was knocking on the door. Just couldn't find a way in there. So the Young O's exited the competition. So Thursday, the 8th of December, and following the Arctic blast, I feel like we're still having the Arctic blast to be fair, over the UK, Crew Alexandra announced that ahead of the upcoming fixture on Saturday, they would be hosting a preliminary pitch inspection on Friday morning at 9:30am. Got to say, well played to Crew. We've had so many instances on this podcast where they delay a pitch inspection or they don't do it until the Saturday morning. So I felt we all knew it was coming, but better to be sooner rather than later with this.
Yeah, so the news that we all thought was coming did come following the preliminary pitch inspection at Crewe. The upcoming fixture had been postponed due to a frozen pitch.
Yeah, still awaiting a new date for that one, I believe. Also on Friday, the 9th of December, the club announced that the home fixture against Rochdale, which is to be played on Tuesday, the 14th of February, will be the next Kids for a Quid match. Obviously, you might be thinking, why is it on a Tuesday? That's obviously the half-term week. Loads of kids will be at that one. Hopefully get a really good atmosphere for that one.
Be interesting because not all the schools break up at the same time anymore. I notice it's fairly staggered at certain parts. So
it is between parts of Essex. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how well that all turns out. I think it's got to say sell as many kids' tickets as what they can.
Yeah, so last Saturday, the 10th of December, even though we weren't in League 2 action, there were several fixtures that were played. We had an eye on second place Stevenage taking on fourth place Mansfield, and it was the best possible result for us as they played out a goalless draw.
Yeah, good.
So no ground was gained, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Sunday, the 11th of December, and again, unsurprisingly, the ladies' team was supposed to be in action, but their match got postponed against Tower Hamlets. Surprise, surprise, due to a frozen pitch. So no football at all for the O's over last weekend.
Yeah, Monday the 12th of December, so this past week now, it was a snow day as Orient snowmen were being built all over the country, and the club opened up voting for their November Player of the Month, including all players who had played at least 2 league matches, including at least 1 start, were up for nomination. Your views on...
for me, I just, in our notes, I just put, I imagine it would be Omar Beckles or Dan Happy. Just because of the lack of game time, you haven't got a striker who scored loads of goals in that, and Paul Smith didn't really score many within November of that period. There's quite a few postponements. It's quite pretty straightforward. So I thought Omar or Dan would take that award just due to the defensive displays. Probably veering towards Omar again for that goal against
because he scored. Yeah, I agree. It's a hard one because we only played 3 games. We won 2 of them, granted, but we lost 1. And everyone's putting in a shift, so it's a real tough. I wouldn't like to be the one if they came to me and said decide. I'd be like, whoa, you just couldn't. So Tuesday the 13th of December, then happy birthday to Orient chairman Nigel Travis and also to O's director Dave Travis. We hope you both had a great day celebrating. Happy birthday, chaps.
Yeah, happy birthday, gents. Also on Tuesday, the club revealed its November Goal of the Month nominees as follows. Like Paul said, there was only 3 games Not many goals based on that. Nominee A was Paul Smith versus Harrogate away, which, if you remember, was his flicked header from the corner. Nominee B, controversial, George Moncur from the penalty spot away to Harrogate. Nominee C, Darren Prattley versus Stockport away at power header. I'll follow him wherever he takes me. And Omar Beckles, nominee D, versus Stockport away, hitting that rebound beautifully and sweetly. I think Prezzinho probably takes it for me. Smith was a basic header, although done well. I'm never going to ever say a penalty should be goal of the month. And Prezzinho's header was great, although for drama, it probably would be Beckles to see come off the bar and then go in the back of the net.
Yeah, that was a
right behind
well-struck
it as an
shot.
Orient fan. So one of those two, I would imagine.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not sure penalties should be included in the goal of the month unless something new or audacious is done, like someone tries a new trick and it comes off really well. Yeah, agree with you. For me, Prattley or Beckles, hard to say. If you're going to push me on it, I'd probably say Omar's goal because of the technique and being able to keep it down and him being prepared and reacting quick enough. But both were important goals that helped us to win a game. Both are really deserving.
Yeah, see who wins that one then. Wednesday, the 14th of December, quiet day at the club, but CEO Mark Devlin tried to put a few worried minds at ease about the upcoming home fixture against Sutton for the following weekend. He tweeted, "The pitch has been covered with a heated dome to help prevent freezing for both the Tottenham Hotspur women's game this evening and the O's game against Sutton on Saturday. We are in contact with the council in relation to gritting local roads. Fingers crossed, it should be fine." Now, in hindsight, I was thinking, there's no way this game's going ahead. It's frozen in Leyton. From what I can see in Leyton, with a few mates who work down that way, it looks frozen as well. I thought, there's absolutely no chance this game is going ahead.
Yeah, but it did.
But it did, yeah, absolutely. I guess before we come on to that, there was a match played at Brisbane Road on that evening. Spurs ladies don't seem to be a very good team. They seem to be trounced every game they play. Maybe Brisbane Road's unlucky for them. They smashed 3-0 at home to Everton at Brisbane Road. The goals were on Sky Sports News on a Thursday morning that I watched.
Really?
Yeah. Shocking defending though.
Really?
Ladies. Come on, Spurs ladies.
Thursday the 15th and Friday the 16th of December, 2 quiet days, no news to report, so let's move on to the big event, Saturday, December the 17th.
Yeah, so it did go ahead, and before the game, as always, we ran a Twitter poll to find out how you thought the O's would get on at home to Sutton United. We had 221 votes, and you voted as follows. Only 5% of you thought Orient would lose this one. I was surprised by that, to be fair. Sutton, bit of a
Difficult
bogey.
side.
Historically, at points, been a bogey team for the O's.
Yeah.
Only 10% of you thought the O's would get a draw, and a whopping 85% of those votes thought the O's would come out victorious. As always,
overwhelming.
thanks to everyone who voted on that Twitter poll.
Yeah, 2 o'clock, the team was announced. Lawrence Figueroa in goal, Brown, Beckles, Happy, James, El Mazzuni, Prattley, Drinnan, Smith, Archibald and Kelman made up the starting 11. The substitutes for this one, Sargent, Ogie, Hunt, Clay, Duke McKenna, Satiriou and Wareham.
Yeah, so that side saw only one change from Yo's last starting lineup 2 weeks ago. Aaron Drynan replaced George Moncur, who missed out through illness, but Rob Hunt did return to the match day squad following his injury. So Biddy Legende, your thoughts on the team lineup when you saw that?
Pretty much as expected. Obviously didn't know that George Moncur was unwell, but otherwise, yeah, I got 10 out of 11, I think, on my fan hub, so yeah, quite happy with that.
Yeah, agree with that one. I thought Brown would keep his place at left back, no surprises there. Yeah, only surprise was really Moncur missing out. That did concern me a little bit, because when Moncur missed out in that number 10 role, or that number 8 role, whatever role that advanced attacking midfielder is, we've tried to put Paul Smith there, hasn't worked, and Paul Smith's been a lot less effective in that role, so I was hoping he wouldn't be moved into that 10 role. And when Moncur's not been in the team, we've missed that player. Whether it's been Smith who's replaced him, or Dryner's replaced him, or Satiriou who's replaced him, or we had to jigger out a formation. So I was slightly concerned. So I was hoping that Dryner would have a good game. I was intrigued to see whether Dryner would go up as part of a 2, or whether he'd be played in Moncur's role. So as long as they didn't mess around too much with Smith, I wasn't really going to be too concerned. But when I saw that, I thought, please hope that doesn't mean that you're going to play Dryner on the left now and you're going to put Smith in.
No, I think it's about, there is a structure now, and it's about if one goes down, it's who's going to play in that spot, who's best suited to play in that spot, rather than having to rejig the whole thing now, which I think is brilliant. We could have gone flat 4-4-2 if we needed to, with Drinnan and Kelman up top. And it looked like at one point we did go flat 4-4-2, unconfirmed, but that's what it looked like to me. But yeah, it's Drinnan, you could see him just fitting in behind Charlie Kelman there. So we had a couple of tweets came in about their thoughts on this side. Peter Foreman 2 kicks us off. He says, thought Rob Hunt would come in for Brown. The selection of Drinnan is interesting. 4-3-3 still, or a 4-4-2. Moncur will be a big loss.
Yeah, Len Chin 1 tweeted us before the game. It's a good selection from the starting squad. George Moncur will be missed, as Sutton will provide some stiff opposition. Bench looks solid, but it will need new players to defend well, get second balls, and no silly mistakes, which could get punished. A win, please. In Richie, we trust.
Yeah, Darren Pratley got the game underway in a chilly E10 in front of a very busy crowd at Brisbane Road. And just a minute in, Idris El Mazouni went into the book for a foul after he miscontrolled the ball and tried to recover. That was a minute 30 seconds on the clock, because I had my stopwatch going, because I make the notes as we go along. A minute 30, like the referees booked him. So you could kind of tell... Well, you thought what kind of game this might turn into.
I haven't seen that challenge, so I don't know whether it was a very rash one.
It's just a recovery challenge, and he's just mistimed it. Like it's like a minute and a half into the game. Like you give him a warning, maybe later in the game it probably is. So I guess if you're going to be consistent,
it's still that early.
It's a booking, but come on, it's like a 90 seconds into the game.
So let's skip forward to the 10th minute and a penalty shot for the O's. Long throw-in. Bounced through to Rose. He fumbled his catch. Charlie Kelman pounced on it, and as Rose tried to recover, he went to ground. Also, so did Kelman. Penalty appeals waved away by the ref, who gave a free kick to Sutton. Lucky boy there, Rose. I've seen them given plenty of times.
100%
Plenty of times. If that's World Cup, that's going VRA, mate.
Premier League, it's VAR.
Yeah, VAR. Sorry, not VRA. That's my work. That's Video Recordings Act. Sorry, VAR.
Yeah, so I don't understand how he's given a free. What he's thought is that Kelman's brought down Rose when Rose has gone forwards and down to get the ball, and Kelman's there. That's a penalty. Like even Richie Wellens mentions it in his post match. That's all day long a penalty.
Yeah, it looked like it.
15 minutes on the clock now. Former O Harry Buterman stopped Lawrence Vigouroux from releasing the ball quickly, but surprisingly wasn't booked.
So no yellow card for Mr.
So no yellow
Buterman.
card. But I can't help but think that he was running with his back. Obviously with his back to Lawrence Vigouroux, and Viggs has just kicked it at him.
Right, okay, maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why.
So you were there yesterday, I wasn't. 25th minute, you made a note, right?
Yeah, not a lot to talk about. Neither team seemed to have really settled into their stride. You could see Sutton was sitting back, soaking us up, doubling up on Smith, getting to Theo out on the wings quite quickly.
As what an away team you would do
your homework.
if you've scouted us and done your homework. So no complaints there from a Sutton perspective.
But just as I'd finished making that note, Paul Smith picked the ball up on the halfway line. He was facing with his back to the dugout, and then he's literally just gone. Just knocked it past his man, and just left him standing. They're 7 and 20. Were tag teaming and doubling up on him, and he just literally nicked it past him. He's then driven towards goal, skipping past Kizzy. So this guy's come in to try and take him out. He's danced past him there. His cross eventually found Charlie Kelman. Unfortunately, his effort went wide of the near post. Wow.
Brilliant.
What a bit of excitement.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what he can give you, which was really good to see. And the crowd would definitely livened up the crowd. 26 minutes in, an O's corner was cleared, and Sutton had a counter-attack on, 3-1.
Yeah.
But our one was Tom James, made a superb sliding tackle to prevent the attack. Well played, Tom James.
It then eventually, by the time that they caught up, it then became 4-on-2. Still no good, but Tom James, if he'd have mistimed that would have been a yellow card, possibly a red as the last man potentially. So that was that should not, if that's not on, I haven't watched the highlights back.
It's not.
That is an unbelievable challenge, and well done. Well done, Tom James.
It's not because I haven't seen it, but well done, Tom James.
I can't tell you what a game-changing tackle that could have been. 30 minutes on the half-hour mark, driving run from Charlie Kelman saw him fouled. It looked like it was in the box, but because we were shooting to the south, to the north stand to start with, but the referee awarded a free kick on the edge of the box, which is probably a fair.
Now
assessment.
that wasn't our highlights, right? And I think Kelman doesn't get the credit he deserves, right? Because if that's Paul Smith, everyone's raving about that run, and I haven't seen that much in the post-match tweets about that run or much about Kelman. I thought that was an amazing run from Kelman.
It probably happened so early on in the game that by the time the 2 goals come, people have forgotten about it.
Half-hour mark. But, fantastic run there. Well played, Charlie Kelman. Theo Archibald stepped up to take the free kick. If you listen to the first bit of this podcast, which you must have done if you're listening to this bit, you'll know it hit the bar. Theo came very close to scoring, but unfortunately not to be his day. Great free kick.
Great free kick, yeah. Literally a lick of paint off of going in. Fast forward then to the 38th minute. Superb work again from Paul Smith down the left as his cross ended up finding Charlie Kelman unmarked in the box. His first time shot was well blocked. They were definitely putting bodies in the way. And that went out, blocked out for a corner that unfortunately came to nothing.
Yeah, let's skip in. 1 minute of time was added on, played out, nothing more to report in the first half as the sides went in goalless at half time.
Yeah, attendance was announced as 8,069 fans with just 562 making the trip from southwest London.
Not bad at all there. One tweet at half time came in from Kid Sampson. Oh, well, not too impressed. Said grim stuff. Drynan needs hooking. He's miles off the pace, and we are sorely lacking creativity from the number 10 role. Would like to see Duke McKenna or Elmis push further forward. Still, Sutton are having to work hard to stay in the game, so maybe we'll run the legs out of them. Good tweet there.
It was a bit flat to start with. And then, a couple of piece of brilliance from Smith and from Kelman. Bit unlucky, and Theo shot that hit the bar. It's not all doom and gloom, but take your point. No changes for the O's at half time. Sutton got the second half underway, and 4 minutes in some nice build-up play saw Theo Archibald's cross find Paul Smith at the back post. His header hit the back of the near post, with the linesman eventually flagging for offside.
Yeah, so he did. 51st minute stopping play as some players were down in the box with head injuries from a set piece, and then shortly after that it was time for the first O sub as Darren Pratley had to go off. He was replaced by Rob Hunt, so that meant that Jordan Brown reverted to midfield and Hunt went to right back. That's a great example there of how adaptable the team is. It's not just a straight swap, but because Brown can play in various positions and so can Hunt, either on the left or the right.
Yeah.
Moving his players around, so not causing too much chaos with his substitution. So
Tom
really
James stayed at left back.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
where Rob Hunt has been brought in as the left back.
Yeah.
He stayed at and Tom, because Tom was doing actually quite well. I think it was one of his better games, to be fair. 61 minutes on the clock, so just over the hour mark. Paul Smith ended up breaking the deadlock with a superb strike. The ball pinged about. Eventually, Idris El Mazouni intercepted the ball. It came to Charlie Kelman. He slightly miscontrolled his touch, but it ended up falling back to Theo Archibald, who fed the pass wide to Smith after Baldwin failed to control it. And our little number 7 drove across the box, made some space for himself and fired his effort past Rose in the Sutton goal, making it 1-0 to the mighty O's. What a piece of magic out of nothing. He's just taken 2 touches, taken it nice and wide, found himself a bit of a gap because he was starting to get crowded out. There was 3 or 4, as you see on the highlights reel. Bang, far right corner. Brilliant goal. All of us
must look great in the south stand.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm only gutted that I couldn't film it.
I mean, I think I say it every week. You kind of run out of superlatives, right, about Paul Smith. If he's not scoring an overhead kick or doing something outrageous, he's scoring like another outrageous goal from outside the box. I mean, fantastic. Favourite bit about that is the Sutton play is the keeper just looks at his defence and his defence go,
what can you do?
What can we do? We had everyone marked. He's just put in the top bins, mate. We can't do anything.
Yeah,
so.
True.
Yeah,
so true.
Amazing. Great strike there from Paul Smith. What a season he's having. Long may it continue in the second half of the season. So 66 minutes then, second Orient sub as Idris El Mazouni was replaced by Craig Clay. That's
sensible.
Makes sense to me.
Because he was on the yellow from so early on. It's not worth risking him.
1,000,000%, yeah.
And Craig Clay is a very appropriate substitution there. Since we've scored, Sutton have made some changes. There's a bit more urgency about their game, pressuring us a bit more than they were in the first half, especially as they're now 1-0 down. We made our final sub as Paul Smith was replaced by Ruel Satoru in the 76th minute.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's so important, isn't it, to get that first goal? Because ultimately, once you get the first goal out of nothing, then they've got to come. They've got to change their game plan to come at you, which obviously leaves you gaps to go and exploit, and it becomes a much more open game. So that's why players like Paul Smith are so important. They can get you goals out of nothing.
And get you ahead. And I think that was a good substitution as well. Like, he's done his bit. Let's not knacker him out. He's been managed. He had injuries, terrible injuries last season that saw him miss swathes of it. So, yeah, good.
And there's lots and lots of football to come.
I thought Ruel did well
weeks.
When he came on as well. He looked quite industrious as well. Really good
stuff. 1 minute later, then 3 minutes later, 79th minute, the O's made the game safe, made it 2-0 as Tom James took a long throw in into the box. Paul eventually came to Craig Clay. He crossed it in, and the off-balance Alistair Smith miscut his clearance totally. was halfway on the floor, and the ball amazingly flew past Rose.
Don't know how he's done that.
To double the O's lead. We've been quality this season, right? And I can't dispute that. But boy, oh boy, have we had some luck.
Yeah.
Right? With some misses from opposition, with Viggs making some amazing saves, with all the team, Tom James, Paul Smith, all of them scoring some amazing goals. That's another stroke of luck. When you're up there, they go in the back of the net. Had we been in bottom place or mid-table, Smith would have hit that and it would have hit the bar or gone over the bar.
Or would have gone out wide or something.
Or would it even happen?
Yeah.
When you're top of the league, these things tend to run with you, which is why I'm convinced that, we are going to comfortably probably end up going up. I don't want to jinx it, but we've had so much luck already this season.
How dare you
it's
speak
amazing.
Like that? How dare you speak
amazing.
like that?
So 2-0, game pretty much done after that point.
Yeah, that's right. 89th minute, Theo Archibald, our guest this week, picked up a yellow card for walking away with the ball and then throwing it away.
One of the Sutton players said foreign films were rubbish, and Theo didn't like that.
He must have said, like, what are you listening to on Spotify? That's rubbish. But no, I just felt that was slightly unnecessary. That was an unnecessary booking. That is his 5th yellow card, but that doesn't count now because the 19th game has been played, and now it's 10 in, I think, 30 games now.
Hopefully he doesn't pick up another 5 in the next 11, hopefully.
5 in the next 9.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, apart from that, 6 minutes of time went up on the ball. Nothing further to report. The referee blew the full-time whistle as the match ended with an Orient win as Brisbane Road was rocking all over the world. So some fantastic stuff there. Richie Wellens was interviewed after the game. That currently isn't on YouTube, and due to time constraints and having Theo on the podcast, we're not going to get to play his post-match interview this week, but thank you to Dave Victor, as always, for sending that over.
Very interesting though, very honest again from him. We said we were a bit ring rusty, we haven't played for a couple of weeks. The lads had a Christmas party last week. We've not been able to train properly because obviously the training ground's been under snow, so they've had to make alternative arrangements, as has every other club that's affected by snow. But he was just kind of really rationalising why we looked a little bit ring rusty to start with. But I thought he made it right. Darren Prattley had a dead leg, which is why he came off. So hopefully he's going to be okay. Hopefully Monks will be back for, we've got 10-day break now because we're not playing on Boxing Day, so not until we play Stevenage. So should be enough time to get those that are fit and well back. As I was walking to the ground, I saw Adam Thompson. Hopefully he's not, I didn't speak to him, but hopefully he's not too far off coming back. And Georgiou, Jaden Sweeney was there, and someone else who I can't remember, but it's not really that important.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was very interesting. So it's on the club's app. If you have the club's app, you can listen to it.
Is it? Oh, brilliant stuff. All right, so league table in. Obviously, the O's are still top. Played 21 now, won 16, drawn 3, lost 2, a goal difference of plus 23, and we're currently on 51 points. Interestingly, it wasn't much of a League 2 football. The only other game was Barrow against Swindon. Didn't impact us, so it means we are 7 points clear of second place Stevenage. We are also, this is ridiculous, 16 points clear of 4th placed Swindon, and we also have a game in hand over them. Things you'd love to see. What a Christmas this is going to be.
That's got to be 6 games that we lose that they win before you even start.
4th place, yeah.
Yeah, before you even start thinking about dropping down.
Yeah, so Bearded, Legende, your views on Sutton United at home yesterday?
Yeah, not a game that will really live that long in the memory. We started slowly. We didn't really have a flow or rhythm. Sutton set up to defend, sit back, soak it up. They should have had some bookings. That bugle was fouling and rolling around like he'd been shot by a sniper. I think Craig Eastman as well was a little bit like that. Beautyman, I thought, was probably, with a different referee on a different day, probably fortunate not to get a booking for blocking Viggs, although he may not have intended to have done that, so that's probably the payoff there. They doubled up on Theo and Paul Smith, made it tough for us, our creative outlets, but others stepped up, worked hard. Charlie Kelman did very well, Aaron Drynan did well. Towards the end of the first half, by what we've mentioned, Theo's hit the bar. Charlie's had a couple of good opportunities. He's put them wide. Paul Smith's given their right-sided players a really torrid time. Sutton defended well, didn't offer us anything going forward. They had one counter-attack, I think, the whole game. I don't think Lawrence Vigouroux made anything more than 2 routine catches. I don't think he'll really have a more comfortable game if he tried. Great goal from Paul Smith. Dan Happy, again, superb. Marshall, Bugle, absolutely superbly. Omar Beckles as well, assisting there and doing his bit. Good to see Rob Hunt back in the squad. Yeah, unfortunately due to injury to Darren, so it's unfortunate. But he did very well as well. He looked lively. He looked like he liked getting forward as well to help support attack. Thought Tom James was magnificent.
Good,
absolutely magnificent yesterday. And we're top at Christmas, only been second place once this season.
Oh, good stat.
And that's when Stevenage played a game when we didn't. So they had a game in hand over us. So it's only 1 week out of 21 game weeks have we not been top. I don't remember the last time, and I haven't looked up the history books that I've got as to when that might have been. But we were talking. I was talking to some fans yesterday about what the lowest points that someone's gone up in League Two. So if there are any statos out there that can help us with that would be very much appreciated.
I'm sure there must be. So statos get working.
There's only 25 games left, which is 75 more points.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Your views?
It's going to be short and sweet this week because I wasn't there. Yeah, I mean, Sutton United always potential to slip up, right? Yeah. So horrible opponents, weather, rustiness. Could have gone on a different day. You know what Orient are like, but again, deliver clean sheet, decent performance. Could have been more. Like you said, Vigouroux had to do nothing really. I wasn't there, but it felt like that goal was coming. It didn't feel like a surprise to see it go from 0-0 to 1-0. So fantastic. Paul Smith, what can you... Like I said, there's only so much we can say about him on this podcast. And I think Gab Sutton, annoyingly, who's got a massive reach, done a tweet this afternoon just saying like he's far too good for League Two. He's only there because of his injury record, which is probably true. So I think for us, we just got to enjoy him while we've got him because he seems every week to get more and more plaudits. And when he's putting goals in like that, I think that's going to happen. And I think it's very important that we keep calm in January because he is bound to get linked to some big move. It's only natural that the best players from League Two will get linked to the biggest clubs from League One and maybe some Championship clubs. So I'd be amazed if players like Vigouroux and Smith and Happy, who are all out of contract at the end of the season, unless they announce something this week to say they've signed new deals, I'd be amazed not to see him leave, but to see him not linked with any transfer activity. And it's very important that Orient fans stay calm in January because we've got such a good set of players. It's bound to happen. I also think Idris, and you was on an Ipswich vlog about a week and a half ago, which I watched. Very good, by the way, Mr. Levy.
Thank you.
Ipswich are starting to lose now. They lost yesterday to Wickham. They were like running away with it. Plymouth have now well on top of them. Ipswich are starting to draw games they were winning and lose a bit now.
Yeah,
it's only gonna intensify Ipswich desire for Idris to come back from a fan base perspective. So again, really important to keep calm under what is going on at the moment because our best players will get linked with other clubs. Idris will get linked with going back to Ipswich because it's natural.
But Ipswich have got two players that are out that are coming back from injury. One's back any time now, I think that Ipswich guy said, and one's probably slightly longer. But hopefully they will be looking to bring in Championship players.
Hopefully, yeah.
So that they then can push back up. You're right, Plymouth are 2 points ahead, played the same amount of games. Sheffield Wednesday are 2 points behind them. So they've got a little bit of a buffer, and they've only lost their last 1 in 5. So
they drew against Was it Fleetwood or Morecambe? They drew something in the last
2 draws, 2 wins.
Yeah, they were winning those games previously.
1, 2 and 5 if you want to look at it that way. But then there are others around them. You know, Derby County occupy the last playoff spot on 34 points. So that's 11 points that they've got a buffer zone on it. So hopefully they'll be looking to bring in players from above.
Hope so. And I think,
it's a good point though.
For me, it's just the stats are still staggering. 51 points from a possible 63 is
unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely insane from not just any team, but from Orient. It's just the thing you love to see. Absolutely insane season. Some wonder goals already, and we've not even played half the season.
Yeah.
Make it out what you will.
Yeah.
Long may it continue.
Love agree. Absolutely agree. Just looking about the games in hand and all the stuff we've got going on, it's just can't remember a season like it. Even when we got promoted out of the National League,
don't even need to look at games in hand at the moment.
Anyway, so those were our views, short and sweet and to the point. We had a lot of feedback that came in after this match, so thanks to everyone for your views and sending them into our social media accounts. And just because we read them, it doesn't mean we agree with them. We put them in for context and balance. Fallbrook _I said the O's 7 points clear at Christmas a great first present of the festive season.
Yeah, Record Blue Apps, a competent victory with no frills or spills, just what the doctor ordered. And if the points per game run rate stays as they are, we'd be out of reach from Swindon by game 31. Do we start to believe?
Gary Talbot 7 said, excellent by all to get that game on and crucial to not have slipped up. Plymouth's record haul points in 2001-2002 in League 2 should be pursued with vigour. Smith is the best League 2 player since Bobby Zamora. That's quite a statement, Gary. Great stat.
Going back a long way there. Casey Adams, LOFC. Go on.
Sorry, just to come back on that point. Well done to the ground staff, Colin and the ground staff, and everybody involved with getting that game on. And thank you to Spurs for the warm egg dome,
the dome
10 thing.
Casey Adams, LOFC, loving life, said, what a win. In a game where you couldn't see where the goal was coming from, Smith with a bit of magic. 7 points clear at the top at Christmas. Doesn't get much better.
Richard J. Bourne said, hard work victory. Another cracker by Smith, who is unbelievable. Jordan Brown is like a Craig Clay from seasons ago, an unsung hero who does a good job in different positions. Bang on the money, Richie.
Great
Bang
point.
on. And a bit of an unsung hero, Jordan Brown, because he's a midfielder that's slotted into right back superbly, and he likes to get forward as well.
Great point there, yeah, well done, Richie. Paul Redrum said, very professional performance against a very awkward team, but I wish after the second goal went in, we went for it a bit more, but super happy with being 7 points clear, up the O's.
Trousers Techno said, a 2-0 win, but not one of our better performances, which lacks some fluidity in our passing and movement. 7 points clear at the top, however, and 16 points clear of fourth place, so what's not to like?
Exactly. Emmy Baker, 2001, said, terrible ref today about an anti-footballing team like Sutton. Put them to bed. Big result.
Good point. Dan Alton 2590 said, hardly scintillating, but it didn't have to be. You know what sort of game Sutton are going to give you, and the hard pitch only added to that already difficult task. But once we've got ahead, it was plain sailing. As important a win as any of them. Big one, ticked off, we move.
Yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely. Dirk Turk kept it short, kept it sweet, said, and easy 3 points as they will come. Move on quickly to the next.
Orient _Ed said, seemed to be missing something in the first half, but we clicked into gear eventually. That little magic man does it again. Over 50 points, top of the league, and 16 points clear of everyone into the playoffs places. An exciting time to be an O. Merry Christmas, everyone.
I think last season we finished on 58 points total. This season we've got 51 points.
And we're not even halfway through
only
the
7
season.
points away from last season's
Yeah.
points all, which is an absolutely ridiculous stat. Steve Chaplin 4 said solid win against limited opponents. Class from Smith yet again. But a shout out for Brown, who was tidy at right back and in midfield when he moved there. Lots of love tonight for Jordan Brown.
Yeah, agree. Absolutely agree. Painting Orient said a solid performance against a tricky side with great adaptability from the likes of Jordan Brown. Missed a little bit of Monks' magic in the first half, but a class finish from Smithy made it all much smoother than my return train connection.
Yeah, so lots of problems with the central line yesterday.
Well, there were rail strikes.
As well, yeah, lots of difficult trains there. Frank Beavis, great stat from Frank here. Just had a look at the league table from last season, and we have 4 more points from Forest Green had after 21 games up the O's. And if you remember, Forest Green Rovers could barely muster a win for the last 15 games of the season, and they still went up pretty much as champions on the last day of the season. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, Len M4 said, could have easily been one of those days with the ref and their anti-football, but the team never stopped grafting and got what they deserved by the end.
Certainly did. O's fan basics are very comfortable. Not a lot to beat, and we didn't exactly wow anyone, but we do not look like letting in a goal, and we have class players who you know will get one.
It's a good point, because we defend from the front. Charlie Kelman at times was just racing to close everything down. Driz was doing that as well. Smith and Archibald as well. Everyone was looking. So you defend from the front, it makes it easier on the back four all day long. E10 Newman said, decent performance and a great goal by Smith. I do hope, however, that even though Rob Hunt is fit again, Jordan Brown will still be selected in the first 11. He's done brilliantly since he came in.
Yeah, Les LK52 said a really solid performance, especially without our star man Moncur. Every player contributed. We started the game slowly and finished it like an express train. Just wish we could start a little faster. No complaints. Brilliant performance. And Paul Smith, wow, what a player.
Paul Skinner 88 said, a dirge of a game, but results matter. We were dragged down to their level for most of it. God help their fans watching that every week. That's the sort of ref I hate, stopping the game for a foul whenever anyone falls over. Safe before Christmas, 7 points clear. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas indeed. Boats, he said, I'm running out of words to describe this team. Unbelievable result, and I can't remember a season like this in all my Orient supporting days. 51 points by Christmas is some feat. Only really need 10 or 11 more wins to guarantee promotion.
Yeah, Ben Whitlock 13 said, key moment was Viggs using his experience and going down to buy the bench time to sub off Pratley. Scored shortly afterwards, but we were in danger of being under pressure with 10 men.
Yeah,
good spot that.
Good spot there by Ben. Phil VZ1 said, having gone to such lengths to get this game on, it was important to win it. Sutton did not offer much. Big physical team with a manager from a distant era. It was a scrappy match, but we dug in to win comfortably. Fantastic strike from Paul Smith.
SR Barber 1986 said, another professional performance. Sutton didn't really trouble us, but we were solid enough at the back before another tremendous goal from Smith opened them up. After seeing what this league offers, I can't see how we don't go up this year unless we get a major build-up of injuries.
It would have to be something fairly catastrophic, but this is Orient, so you never are there until you are there. I thought this was a really good tweet coming up here. JB Foreman 002 said, it looked so routine for us to win. I've never seen Orient make winning look routine before.
Great tweet.
Very good tweet there.
Great tweet. So James B 59704959 said, missing Moncur showed, and we were further handicapped by the early booking for Idris, which meant he had to hold back. They didn't really trouble us and seemed happy to rely on set pieces to get anything. A tough game passed, but there will be more in the coming months.
I'm sure there will
We've
be.
got to play them again at their place.
Absolutely, yeah. Penultimate tweet this week. Tom Davies E17, who said, Happy and Beckles, excellent at the back, but a shout out for Kelman and Dryan. Even though neither scored or really looked like scoring, the way they pressed, kept their shape and generally worked their socks off was important.
Tom, we can't read out those words. You should know that by now. Final word goes to Matty H LOFC, who said safety guaranteed before Christmas. 16 points clear of fourth. My word, Merry Christmas indeed.
Yeah, Merry Christmas indeed. So loads of tweets read out there. Let us know if you agree or disagree with any of those that have been read out. You can tweet us at Orient Outlook. You can email us at orientoutlook@outlook.com. You can find us on Instagram at Orient_Outlook_podcast. And you can also find us on Facebook at Orient Outlook Podcast. So loads and loads of ways to get in contact with yourself, Stan, Chums. Bit of Legende. Let's go for the Carol Langley Florist Prediction League update.
Let's do that. Carol Langley Florists sponsor our Prediction League. So they are an established business based in Chingford, East London, specialising in bespoke flowers sourced from the finest growers around the world. From a simple thank you to tailored wedding or event packages, they're here to help you and also have a great range of Christmas bouquets and table centres. They're offering a 15% discount to all those fans and staff, which could give you a huge saving on your wedding and flowering costs. To get in touch with John and their fantastic team of experienced florists, give them a call on 0208 529 4130 or get in contact via social media at Carol Langley E4, that's Carol with an E on the end, or at Essex Biz on Twitter. They're on Instagram, Carol Langley Florist, or Facebook at Carol Langley Florist.
Yeah, lots of correct predictions in this one. Lots of you predicted 2-0 without a scorer and get 3 points. We had lots of you who also got 4 points. So M8XYL, Ryan JD52, Ian Hutchinson, Wingsmad, East London XL, That to O's Fan, Gorillas 1985, The Authentic Gaz, Waller Ad, Ben Porter, Tommy Atkinson, Nick Clark, all got 4 points. A lot of points dished out. It means that the top of the prediction league on 30 points already.
Smashed last season, didn't they?
I think last season was like 36 points, the eventual winner. So he's only got 2 more correct predictions to get. That Toulouse fan, again, with a correct prediction. He got 4 points on Saturday, so well done. David Landell, still following him. He's on 22 points. David, well done. You got 3 points yesterday. O's fan Basing also got 3 points yesterday to get himself to 20 points. And Ben Whitlock and Wingsmad on 19 points. So loads and loads of you correctly predicting there. And remember to get all of your predictions in. Lots of points to play for over the festive period.
Absolutely. And also just a quick nod to everybody who came and said hello yesterday, people that I haven't spoken to before. Good to chat with people. I went up to the Legends Lounge after the game. Nice to meet so many people and chat Orient in good times. So yeah, thanks to everybody who said hello or came and said hi. Really good to meet people. Sunday the 18th of December then, as we look to wrap this up, happy heavenly birthday, 53rd birthday to the late great Justin Edinburgh.
Yeah, absolutely there. wishing all our listeners who celebrate Hanukkah a very happy festival light. Happy Hanukkah, Mr. Levy.
Thank you very much indeed. We lit our candles tonight. So there is no fancy football update because obviously the World Cup ended today in quite magnificent style. So there is no fancy football update. Boxing Day is the next Premier League round of fixtures, so it will kick in then. So good luck to everybody for the next half of this season. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so positives and negatives of the week. Unsurprisingly, there's going to be a lot more positives than negatives. You can do it a bit of Legenda. You go for positives.
We'll switch it up. Another win.
Yeah, another 3 points.
Another 3 points on the board. 2 goals.
Yep.
A clean sheet.
Absolutely. Most importantly, though, top of the league, 16 points away from 4th place. Again,
as we've mentioned,
an absolutely amazing positive. To have only negative for this week, unsurprisingly, would be George Moncur missing out through illness. Haven't got another game now for a good couple of days. Hopefully, he can beat his illness and be back in the team for that one. So, Carol Langley, Florist, Hero of the Week. We mentioned them earlier, but we're sweet. No Twitter poll. A straight award going this week.
Could have been a number of players.
Do you know what? It would have
Jordan
been interesting
Brown,
to see
Smith.
This week. You imagine Paul Smith would have won it. However, seeing all those tweets about Jordan Brown, I think Jordan Brown might have nicked it back.
It would have been tight.
Not going to be a player this week. We're going direct to a member of staff. So, ladies and gents, Hero of the Week is
Colin James and
well
the ground
done,
staff. Everyone involved with getting that game on yesterday. Thank you very much indeed.
Absolutely. So, the upcoming fixtures in. So, next week's fixtures, next fixture, home to Stevenage. Don't forget, this has been moved from Boxing Day, so please don't rock up to Brisbane Road on Boxing Day at 3 o'clock because you'll be bitterly disappointed. Instead, rock up on Tuesday, the 27th of December, and don't forget, this one kicks off at 12:30. And look sharp out there, everyone, because this one's going out live on Sky Sports.
Yeah, wear all your Christmas presents, or show off all your gear.
Yeah, top of the table clash this one. Obviously, if you listen to this, you'll know Stevenage are currently second in League Two. They didn't play this weekend, so hopefully they'll be a bit ring rusty because I don't believe they're going to play now until they play us. So
correct.
Richie spoke about us being rusty. They're going to be even rustier than us. Hopefully we go. I mean, if we beat them, we'll pull away from that second place team, and then people really, really will start believing. So a massive game.
54.
So
that puts 10 points ahead of them.
Look forward to seeing you all down there. And like Paul said, always great to meet new listeners and Orient fans. So if you see us, please come and say hello. We love meeting new faces.
Loved it. Jack Coates, get tweeting, mate. You know what that's about.
I don't know what that's about, so...
No, I'm talking to Jack.
I know, but you nodded at me. No idea. So sponsorship reminder then?
Yeah, let's do that. Don't forget, if you're thinking of moving home, keep it in the Orient family. Save a few quid by using trusted estate agents, Town and Country Essex. Call them on 01279 883 444, or you can call them on 07528 471 497. They're also on Twitter at T&C Harlow or at Charlie_Paul.
Yeah, so that is it. Thanks for joining us for episode 303. So after a break last week, following the postponement at Crewe, the O's were back in action as we beat Sutton United fairly comfortably thanks to Paul Smith and an own goal as we remain top of the league for Christmas, and games don't get much easier than the visit of Stevenage, who are up next at home. They'll be fresh. They'll be keen to close the gap on us on Sky Sports, like we've said. That's followed up with tough away trips to Newport and Northampton Town, all in the short space of 7 days. So let's hope we are talking about a win in our next podcast, which we are aiming to get out on the evening of Monday, the 2nd of January.
That should probably say they don't get much harder.
I know, but I quite like it when we were saying much easier. They get much easier than that.
Cheeky, Stevenage, we love you. Not. If you're listening on iTunes, please subscribe, give our podcast a listen. It really does help us to be found by other fans of other clubs or other fans, other Orient fans who aren't connected with us yet. It does really help. So if you could subscribe, give us a follow on whatever podcast app that you listen to us on. A review would be extra special, cherry on top. We very much appreciate that. So if you're listening on SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn and Stitcher, add us to your favourites, and that way you'll have all the podcasts available as soon as we upload them. We're also on all smart speakers and the Fan Hub app, so listening to this podcast has got even easier. If you've got an older relative, a loved one, or an Orient chum who you think will be interested in hearing what's going on at Orient, grab their phone, download the podcast for them, and pass the pod.
Yeah, so a massive thank you once again to Theo Archibald for making his Orient Outlook podcast debut. Thank you to the club for sorting out that interview. We hope you all enjoyed that one. And as this is the final Orient Outlook podcast of 2022, thanks to everyone who who has listened this year, engaged with us on social media, said hello at matches, or had any interaction with us. Obviously, we do this off our own backs. It's very hard work. It's very time consuming, and if no one was listening, then it wouldn't be worth it. So we still continue to get loads of listens, loads of engagement, which makes it
very
all worth it. So thanks to everyone this year who has interacted with us. So like we said earlier, back with episode 304 on Monday the 2nd of January. So that's the day of the Northampton Town match. That'll be coming to you live from Orient Outlook podcast towers, and that will have all the information and views that you could ever need over the festive period. But we look forward to hearing from you, and as always, keep calm, stay safe, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and listen to the Orient Outlook podcast.
Just one quick thing that's just come to me.
I've added it up so beautifully.
You absolutely did, but it's just come to me that if you get stuck and need to listen to something Orient related, we have a huge back catalogue of interviews that you can refresh yourself with. So anyway, we're signing off now. Happy New Year to you all, and up the O's.
Happy Hanukkah.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10. It's glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the